Again, afternoon everybody. Sion here. Going to go ahead and go over notable trash on the way to Ursoc. I'm going to have this video put together, and then I'm going to follow it up with the trash onto the way to the Dragons. All right, so that we have both those available, and then the cheat sheets that I've been making are going to be available, uploaded with it, also on our Facebook page, so you can download them if you want to have them. Okay. So we're going to start off with the Grizzly Trapper. All right, the Grizzly Trapper summons the Dread Spirit. This is the charge. The Dread Spirit is an awesome mechanic as far as just a trash NPC action. It does an auto targeting randomly, putting a target arrow on a person. It then charges to that person, doing damage and knocking back anyone who's in the charge line. Upon contact of the target, it goes into Dread Impact, which is a 10-yard AoE that inflicts, 225,000 damage to everybody that's within it. And the Grizzly Trapper summons these Dread Spirits throughout the engagement. So when you have the Grizzly Trapper active, as soon as the Dread Spirit goes active, you need to make sure that we're avoiding. So I think the best approach would be to just form a circle with, a couple yards of spacing and work on the target appropriately. You see the red arrow come down, make sure that you're taking a position that gets you out of the way of the attack as soon as possible. Okay? The Grizzly Trapper does a conical swing. It's called Gruesome Cleave. It's every 2 seconds. It does 350,000 damage to all players 5 yards in front of the target. So when we switch to it, make sure melee that you're putting yourself in a position where you're attacking the Trapper from behind. Next is the Dire Shaman, and this is considered one of the most dangerous trash mobs that are available in this area. It requires frequent interrupts, so we're going to make sure that we have an interrupt team available. And that's something that we're going to just establish. Like, you three are on interrupts, boom, you're on interrupts, and just that's your rotation throughout the entire encounter. So we raid 3 hours straight. That's your job. No one's taking it from you, and you can't pass it on to anybody. Your focus needs to be on making sure that we're getting that interrupt rotation going consistently, and that you're calling it out on the mic when you need the next one. I just say that you word follow usually. I'd be like, follow, so somebody follow me up because I just took care of what I needed to do, but it doesn't need to be long like that. Or you can be like, next, or whatever word we want to go ahead and agree on, just say it, and then the next person knows to go in the team. They do Dreadful Wrath, which is just a regular damage bolt of damage. Is probably going to go to its current target, which is the tank, so the tank will be hit by it. And then it does also an AoE volley that goes on with a 2.5 second casting. That's a 60 yards, so that's unavoidable. That's just going to be base damage that's going to go out. It is interruptible, so again, the interrupt team, that's your responsibility. Is when you see the Dread Wrath volley, you immediately engage it and put the interrupt on it. Every 20 seconds, the Dire Shaman will summon the Corrupted Totem. The Corrupted Totem is our primary target in any engagement in this section on the way to Ursoc. As soon as the totem goes live, all DPS needs to switch to it and immediately burn it down and then go back to the target. If Twisted Nova goes off, it unleashes a blast of energy that damages all enemies for 750,000 damage. So it'll be about half our pool, and it's a 7-second cast. So it'll go off once for 750,000 if we miss it. So what we need to make sure is that the healer rotation that we set up for when we're doing the bosses, it continues, at the beginning, U3, this is the healing rotation. We're going to get back to using Exodus raid tools to make sure that it's shown properly on the notes so that the healers know who goes next and we can keep that communication going. And once it's down, then it's down, and then look for the next one as it comes up. Next is Corrupted Feelers. They're large stationary tentacles. You can see the object right here. They're avoidable, it says, but if they get engaged, a tank needs to immediately get on them because they'll start attacking melee. You want to make sure that you watch out for spike damage of Corrupt. It's every 2.5 seconds for 1 second and does 100,000 damage. So that's the laser beam that you're seeing. They're going to randomly target and start blasting. So if we engage one, just engage it. Watch out for the swings. Let the tank take one side, DPS on the other, and just engage properly. Next is the Horrid Eagles. Now these are avoidable also. They seem to be really packed out as far as where they're located. They have their own individual path and their own area, so they don't travel in groups. We don't have to worry too much about a pack attack, involving multiple attacks of them. It does have Rend. It's a 2-second cooldown. It does 100,000 damage on a tick, and that 10-second bleed. So if it gets too high, it seems it can't handle it. Tank, call for a swap. Okay. It's like it says here, it's rare to fight even more than one. So, just make sure it doesn't stack. Kind of cover that, right? Already said that. Screech, we got 1 second cooldown. That's a 300,000, 400,000 physical damage to all nearby enemies within 20 yards. It's interruptible, so again, interrupt team, this is your responsibility. There are 2 mini-boss patrollers. One is Guardian Gorok, and the other one is Guardian Urson. Each has its own pack that we need to make sure that we pay attention to. It's with Gorok, it's a Dire Shaman combo, so the kill order at that point is on the list. I added it here, and it'll be here too. It goes Totem, Shaman, Gorok in that order. So once the totems are dealt with, then the Shaman gets killed, Shaman disappears, Totem's gone, then to Gorok. For Guardian, Gorok does an AoE of 500,000 damage on a 2-second cast, everything within 5 yards. They suggest stacking and doing a healing cooldown, or allowing the tank to deal with the damage as it comes in with direct heals, and range burn the target down with with probably circular AoE healing for melee if they get close. We'll just have to see how that fight plays out and what the damage is like. Guardian Urson is just outside the entrance, so at this point we're in front of Ursoc's den. We're about to engage with him. Guardian does Erupting Terror, which is 300k shadow damage to all enemies. It's 10 yards and it's a radius. And then Dark Lightning. It's a random position. As you can see on the effect, it basically creates a storm, a graphic on the ground. You need to avoid it. It does heavy damage, so if you stand in it, it's possible after a few seconds. You can imagine most of this will be probably you get 3 to 4 ticks, maybe 5 ticks, and then you're dead. So you just need to make sure that you witness where your position is, and then watch the edging. They say because it's swirly, the same with the Erupting Terror, the swirly graphic looks larger than it is compared to where the actual damage is, or vice versa. Its size isn't reflective of the total width that it actually has. So you got to watch the edging and appropriate around it. When you go for Guardian, the kill order for Guardian, it goes Totem, Shaman, Totem, Grizzly Trapper, Shaman, and then Urson is suggested because there's a knockback that goes on, and that can be very difficult to manage. So Totems come up, then burn. We'll see how that works. They suggest up here, like I said, Totem, Shaman, and then they switch it up when you get to this pack. So we'll have to see. So that's all of it. I appreciate you watching the video. More to come. Talk to you soon, okay?